know he's the one. Maybe you're dating someone, but you're not sure if he's the right one for you. How are you absolutely sure? What if there were some clear signs, maybe from a dating expert who had been around the block for about 15 years of training and experience? Maybe what if that person could share with you the exact signs you were dating the right person? Would you feel more at ease? Would you feel like your relationship was headed somewhere? And what if that person gave you a couple key conversations that you could use to build and make certain that you're right for each other on both sides? Well, then you'd have the video I'm about to show you right here. I'm going to teach you everything you need to know to make sure that he's the right one for you, and just maybe that you're the right one for him in return. We're going to jump into this topic and figure out the right one for you. And while I'm here, everything I'm going to mention, books-wise, course-wise, everything is available on my website, adamlanesmith.com. That happens to be. I am Adam Lane Smith, the attachment specialist. Like I mentioned, I've got 15 years of training experience, first as a marriage and family therapist, now as an attachment specialist who specializes in coaching with dating, marriage, and relationships in general. So I have helped thousands and thousands of people figure out if they are the right one for their partner and if their partner is the right one for them. Ladies, today I'm talking specifically to you, specifically to making sure that you have the right man in your life who actually loves you and cares about you and is going to stay with you lifelong. Let's talk what that looks like, and let's talk what you would need from him to make certain that that's happening. Before we jump into how do we make sure that he's the right one for you, why does it matter if he's right or wrong? This may sound like a silly answer, but most of us don't quite have the right answer. We might say something like, well, it makes sure we don't get divorced someday. Okay, there's ways to do that. Well, it makes sure that we're happy together and we can grow old together. Well, you're going to grow old regardless, and you may grow old together happy or not, but that doesn't make them the right one for you. We're going to have to talk about what that means. Why is it so important to have the right person for you and that you be right for them? What we're talking about here is compatibility. Compatibility for the long-term sustainable relationship. These are big, fancy words. What it means is, do you fit well together? Are you going to be able to stay together in the long run? And is the long run going to be not only tolerable and maybe pleasurable, but productive for what you want in life? That's the right answer. Am I with the right person who is going to give me the right life I'm looking for so that we can build the right outcome together? Like a legacy, a mutually created legacy, a co-created legacy. Marriage is the business of co-creating a legacy together. So if you are going to get married, you had better make darn sure you are with the right person who's going to co-create the right legacy with you. You also need to make sure that it is sustainable in this relationship. Do they have the skills to sustain a relationship, or do they lack the key skills or the key mindset that is going to tear your relationship apart? If that's part of the problem, we need to fix that, and you need to assess that right up front. And down to compatibility. Do you fit right together? Do you fit right together in every way? And if you don't quite fit right, are you able to adjust to each other so that you take care of each other's needs? Are you compatible? We're going to talk about that because most couples are not compatible. Most couples don't even know how to check for compatibility. They might be compatible, but they have no idea. They're just hoping and dating and wishing and feeling and headed for disaster. So you might be the right person at the wrong time. You might have the wrong person at the right time. Wrong person, wrong time. I've seen all of these things match up, and you may even be with the right person and just not know how to make it work. And if that's you, don't worry. I'm going to show you exactly how to make it happen so that you stay together and build a great relationship. One thing we need to get out of the way really fast, though, is if you have an attachment issue or if they have an attachment issue. Attachment is the way two human beings connect to each other in love, in trust, and in good faith without thinking they have to earn approval from everybody else or without having to be afraid that the other person's going to backstab and betray you. I got a DM just the other day from someone who said, my boyfriend was so incredible for the first 6 months. He was wonderful. And then almost on the 6-month mark, started suspecting me of cheating on him and yelling at me when I would be on my phone. I'd text my friend and I would show him that it was my friend. And he'd say, well, are you sleeping with that friend? No. Well, how do I know that? All of a sudden, the suspicions came boiling out. All of a sudden, that person who was so nice and wonderful was not nice and wonderful anymore and was really suspicious and really controlling and really overwhelming. And she didn't know what she had done wrong. And I walked her through the process of understanding, it sounds like they had avoidant attachment style. They love bombed you at the beginning to mimic the feeling of love, but then when the real relationship started, they didn't trust you because they don't trust anybody. If the other person has attachment issues, that's one possible outlet. So if he has turned on you, and if he started off really nice, or if he's overwhelmingly nice at the start, it might be a good sign that he is not the right one for you. And if that's the case, you need to know that right up front. If he starts ducking out, ghosting, complaining about weird little things, saying, well, I'm not sure I'm right for monogamy, these are really bad signs. Check on that. Also, though, he can break in the other direction with attachment and have insecurity problems where he is overwhelmed with crushing insecurity and endlessly has to earn your approval. If he's never asking for his needs to get met, never telling you the truth, never pushing back at all, never confident, you're going to end up as his mom. And you don't want that. He's not the right one for you. But what's going to happen is you're going to take care of him for a few years, and then he's going to erupt in resentment and anger that you don't do more for him that he's never asked for because he does nice things for you. So all those nice guy tendencies are really to earn good boy points to try to cash in secret rewards he's trying to get from you that you're supposed to figure out. Double check to make sure he does not have attachment issues. And if you need help on how to do that, I have a great book that will outline for you what attachment issues look like and then what steps you could take to fix them. See if he has done any of those steps and see if he's acting the right ways. That book is called Slaying Your Fear. I'm going to link it down in the description below. While we're talking about this, if you recognize any of these tendencies in yourself, fix your own attachment issues. I'm an attachment specialist. This is what I focus on more than anything else. I have a video course called the Attachment Bootcamp. If you're with somebody who has these issues and you want to fix them alongside him, or if you want to fix them in yourself, or if you both have these issues, take my Attachment Bootcamp video course that will walk you as a couple through fixing those issues together. That will tell you if he's willing to do the work, he might be the right one. If he's not willing to do the work, he's probably the wrong one. Make an investment in your relationship and pick up the Attachment Bootcamp course today so that you can work that process as a couple. Okay, compatibility. How do you check for this? Well, you need to define first for yourself, what are your values? What are the 3 things that make you tick? What do you respect most in a man and what do you respect most in yourself? It might be honesty. A lot of women really need honesty and they respect it more than anything else. If that's you, honesty is one of your core values. Compassion, kindness. These are really crucial things that you will give compassion or kindness to other human beings, even when it costs you something. This does not mean enabling people, but being soft, gentle, and nurturing. And maybe you really respect that in a man because it would make him a great father. Compassion's one of my values, by the way, and I got 4 kids. It helps. Loyalty might be something that is really dear to your heart, and you need to make sure that he values that as well, especially when it costs him something. Integrity is another value. He says something, he follows through on it. He always keeps his word. This makes him trustworthy, enormously trustworthy. Very important. Emotional discipline. Where is he at with that? Is he able to manage his emotions? Are you? Is that something you value and respect in him and in yourself? Compatibility means making sure you are both living to those internal values that both of you really value and desire, because that means you guys are stable and trustworthy for each other. So when you hit a crisis point, you will make those decisions based on those shared values. You also need to make sure you're compatible based on what you want. Have you talked yet about marriage? Have you talked about kids, grandkids, great-grandkids, building a legacy together? Have you talked about the company you want to build or the cause you want to support? What do you want to dedicate your life to? You are going to create a legacy. In fact, as a couple, you're going to co-create a legacy. What do you want to co-create together? Is he on board with that? The worst DMs I get is women who are in 8-year relationships who are afraid to bring up marriage because they're afraid it's going to spook him. That boat has sailed and he has already settled in comfortably without having to commit and build that relationship with you. Make sure that you talk about this right up front so that you know that you're both compatible in your desires, how you view that mapping out, and your values that really matter and are going to get you there. Start looking at how he solves problems. Does he shove you out of the way? Does he solve everything himself? I mean, it's bad if he collapses and makes you solve everything for him like his mother, but does he actually work with you? Does he bring problems to you and say, hey, let's solve this together? Is he proactive about them? Does he check things out and ask you, hey, how are you doing in our relationship? Anything that needs to change? Are you enjoying it? Are you having a good time? Does he just ask you? He doesn't have to be intrusive and interrogate you with the spotlight and be the bad cop. He can just say, hey, you know what? How you doing? Is our relationship working for you? It's working for me. I'm loving it, but how you doing? Does he approach problems right up front and then solve them together as a team? Or does he run away from them or run away from you? Does he shove you out of the way to solve the issue himself? Bad sign if that's the case. You need a partner who works with you and who's going to let you have that input, and so that you can trust he's actually going to bring the challenges to you instead of hiding them behind your back. When it comes to sustainability, what are his skills like? Does he know how to build emotional connection with you? Does he know how to open up? Does he know how to problem solve? Does he know how to share about his day with you on purpose? So many men who come into my coaching practice have no idea how or why to talk to their wife. And she says, talk to me. And he goes, how's the weather? And that's it. He has no idea why she wants to hear about his day because he doesn't have any problems to solve. He has no idea why she wants to hear about his thoughts because who cares? Feelings are dumb. That's what he's thinking. And he has no idea why she wants that. Does your guy know why emotional availability is important? Does he know how to talk to you about his day and say, hey, you know what? Let me run something by you and get your feedback. Here's a problem I'm having. Here's how it's making me feel. Here's what I think I'm going to do about it. Before I do that, what are you thinking? Not should I do it, but what are you thinking? What are your thoughts? Did I miss something? Does my solution miss something? Can you think of something I'm missing here? Is there anything cool? Any insight? I'd love your insight. Anything going on there? Does he know how to do that? That's super casual. And most men have no freaking clue how to do that. It's one of the first things I teach to most married men who come into my coaching practice is here's how to talk to your wife about your life and your day and your thoughts and feelings. And it blows their mind because without that, it's a wretched experience. Does he know how to talk to you and ask you questions? Does he know to ask you questions and then listen to your answers and then ask you additional questions as if he's really interested in talking to you? Does he know how to build interest in a conversation and just carry it on without making it all about himself? This is sustainability for the short term. Long-term sustainability goes back to that commitment and that compatibility though. Does he really pursue his long-term goals the way he says he wants? He says he's wanting to get married. Does his life say that? Do his choices say that? Where is he going and is he consistent with it? Look at his consistency. If he's consistent in the directions he says he is, and that's compatible with you, that is long-term sustainability. That's what you need to be building toward. So ladies, be honest. Where are his skills? If he's a good match but has poor skills, I can train him on skills. Send him my way for coaching and I will take care of that. That's not a problem. And finally, the good part. You have sustainability. You have compatibility. What about the joy, the pleasure? These are all good pieces to set up a business, but what about more than business? What about joy together? Does he care about you? Does he meet your needs? Not does he guess. Guessing is dumb. Don't make him play a guessing game. But when you tell him, hey, it is so enormously important to me when you bring me flowers. Does he bring you flowers once in a while? When you are in bed, if you're in bed together and you tell him something's really nice and really important, does he start doing it more or does he disregard it? When you ask him to pick his socks up off the floor and tell him how crazy it makes you, does he pick up a hamper and make sure his socks always make it into the hamper? Does he take care of your emotional needs for mutual fulfillment? And by the way, does he share his needs with you? We go back to the attachment things that we talked about in the beginning of this. Does he share his needs with you and say, hey, this really makes me feel good. This is important. This is what I want from you. If he wants to go to bed, does he just say, hey, can we go to bed together? Right? He just asks. You never have to guess. And that means both of you get mutual fulfillment. Are you playing a guessing game or is it mutual fulfillment? Make sure it's mutual fulfillment. That means that he is confident enough to share it and open enough that you won't have to worry about unmet needs that are going to spiral out of control later on. All of this creates a long-term, sustainable, committed, loving, compassionate, joyful relationship that tells you he is the one. Does he solve problems with you? And does he work together with you with good skills to build a loving, committed relationship? And does he go consistently toward the things he says he's going to do? All of those tell you he's the one. You don't have to find your soulmate, your twin flame. You need to find a man who has these good values so that he can carry long-term into a great relationship with you. That way, when the problems come, and they will, when one of you gets sick, when the kids get sick, when one of you has cancer, when somebody dies, when somebody's hurt, when you have a trauma, he's there with you. And he doesn't make decisions based on feelings and fear. He makes decisions based on the long-term goals that you've created together and your core values. You can always predict the good things he's going to do and work with him. It is never a game of navigating around him. It is working lovingly with him. That tells you he's the right one. Can you watch this video with him and say, everything is great except this one piece, can we work on it together? And he says, yeah, let's make our relationship better. If he's got some attachment issues, or if you do, and you pick up my attachment bootcamp course, can you work through it with him? And he sits and says, yeah, let's do this together. Or does he say, no, that's stupid. I don't want to do that. You work on it on your own. It's your own problem. Do you see the difference? Be honest with yourself. One of those men is the right one for you, and the other one is not the right man for anybody, not even himself. Check for compatibility. Check for these things. If you need help, drop me a comment below and say, Adam, I'm not sure if I'm dating the right one. Here's a problem. And I'll get back to you. If it's something really personal, you don't want him to see it, so shoot me an email, support@adamlanesmith.com. Pop on my website. I've got a contact form on there. I've also got tons of these resources and all kinds of things to help you. And if you're in a relationship with the right one, but it's just not feeling right, I've got my relationship rescue package of 8 coaching sessions with a special discount just for you so that you can work together with me to build a great relationship. Don't let the love of your life slip away just because you guys don't have the skills or the understanding to make it work. Leave me a comment below if you're dating the right one or not, and which of these is the most important piece for you. Let me know, because I'd love to hear. And while you're there, make sure you like and subscribe, because I've got so much more content coming your way to help you make a great relationship.